Converting complex units. Let's say someone tells us 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. And then they give us a problem. I know that this board is, and I'm just going to make this up, but 100 square inches in area. And I have to get a new board because there's this little stain on it over here, right? But all the boards online, they're measured in square centimeters. I have to get one that's exactly this size because look, I don't have any extra space. So I have to convert this to square centimeters. How am I going to do that? I'm going to use this conversion factor. I'm going to remember what you learned last year in algebra. Inches squared just means inches times inches. So instead of just converting by multiplying times this 1 unit multiplier, inches will cancel with inches and I'll get centimeters, but I still have 1 inches left here, right? I still have that unit left. So I actually have to do this twice. I use the unit multiplier 1 time for each number in that exponent. So I have 2.54 centimeters per inch times another 2.54 centimeters per inch. This inches will cancel one of these, and this inches will cancel the other one. So in order to cancel inches squared, I need to use that conversion factor 2 times, once, twice. Then I take 100 times my numerators. So I have 100 times 2.54 times 2.54, and I get 645.16 centimeters times centimeters. So centimeters squared. If I have inches squared, I use my conversion factor twice. Let's say someone tells me they have a plot of land that's 1 square mile. They want to know how big it is in kilometers. Right? So they can sell it to someone from any other country pretty much other than the United States. We know we're going to use 2 different conversion factors because miles squared, the 2 is telling us we need 2 unit multipliers. We have to remember in this case 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers. And then we have to make this into a unit multiplier. What's my first unit multiplier here going to be? You can raise your hand. What's the first unit multiplier going to be? Yeah.
1.6 kilometers and then 1 mile.
Very nice.
And again.
And again. Same thing again. So when I see this squared, I know I'm just going to repeat the same conversion, or the same unit multiplier twice. Exactly the same. Right? That way, one of these miles cancels with this. The other one cancels with this. I have 1 times 1.6 times 1.6. 1.6 times 1.6 is 2.56. Kilometers squared, because I have kilometers times kilometers. So that gives me kilometers squared. And there's even one more complex example of this. Let's say someone wants to know not necessarily area, but volume. And they tell me I have,
And what did you just do it?
right, you would just do it 3 times. Let's say they tell me I have 12 cubic kilometers. Maybe that's like the amount of air on outside of a building or something. I don't know what that would represent. 12 cubic kilometers. It's a volume, right? It's a huge volume. 12 cubic kilometers is 12 kilometers that way, 12 kilometers up, and 12 kilometers that way. It's a huge box. Oops. And they want to know, what is this in cubic meters? What is 12 cubic kilometers in cubic meters? Well, if we remember that 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer, we can turn this into a unit multiplier. Put that over 1. We can multiply times 1,000 meters per 1 kilometer. That's going to cancel one of these. Do it again. That'll cancel the second one. And if we do it one last time, that's going to cancel the last kilometer. So I have 12 times 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000. Yeah. This would equal 12 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros. And our unit here is meters times meters times meters, which is cubic meters. 12 billion cubic meters. So a cubic meter is, this tall, this wide, or long, and then this wide or long, right? So it's a cube. It's a box that's like this big, like a really big moving box. We have 12 billion of those in 12 cubic kilometers. People often make mistakes with this when they're trying to convert, and they think, oh, well, if there's 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer, 12 cubic kilometers is just 12,000 cubic meters. But because of the way these units cancel, we actually have to multiply times 1,000 3 times to truly convert cubic kilometers into cubic meters. Okay. That's for cubic and square units. The other thing you may see is converting something like miles per hour. So let's remember that 1.6 kilometers equals 1 mile. Okay, that's on your little conversion bank.
Are we going to have a conversion bank all the time?
Yeah. And then let's say someone says, I was going a speed of 30 miles per hour. MPH stands for miles per hour. If you don't know that, I would write it out in your notes. Miles per hour. And I want to know how fast was that in kilometers per hour, which I'm going to write like that, because we're just not as familiar with that. We don't use that here. So this, remember, means kilometers per hour. It's going 30 miles per hour. How fast was I going in terms of kilometers per hour? Here's how you're going to write these out. If there's ever a per or a fraction in your unit, you have to put that unit in the denominator. So 30 miles per hour we would write like this. 30 miles per 1 hour. We're going to rewrite this like this. I have to convert this to kilometers per hour. Do I have to change the hours? No, I still want to have hours. All I need to change is the miles into kilometers. So I'm going to do that by saying 1.6 kilometers per 1 mile. This is up top and this is down bottom, so those will cancel. How did you do that sound? You have an awesome sound effect for when they cancel. Okay, 30 times 1.6 is 30 times 1.6. 48 kilometers per hour. Right. We used to have to do this sometimes, like, I'm from Maine and we live fairly close to Canada. So if we would visit Canada, some cars don't have the speeds in both miles per hour and kilometers per hour, but the speed limit signs in Canada are all in kilometers per hour. So if it said like 50 kilometers per hour, you would have to know how many miles per hour can I go if that's all it said on your speedometer. So that would have been about 30 miles per hour. Then they started making cars fancier and fancier, and now, like, my mom has a Prius, and you can just press a button, and it will change the display from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. Which could be a little dangerous too, right? Because, like, whoa, I'm going 50. Oh wait, that's kilometers per hour. You have to keep track of which one you're in. All right. So the key thing here is just to remember, miles per hour is actually 2 units. Miles per hour. All right, let's say we had something else. Let's say someone told us they were going 3 meters per second, which will be written like that. And they want to know, how far will they go in 1 hour? Going along at 3 meters per second, how far will I go in an hour? So we need to figure out how many meters per hour they will go. And on the quiz and homework, I'll always tell you, convert to meters per hour, right? But this is kind of the imaginary question. If I'm going 3 meters per second, how many meters will I go per 1 hour, in 1 hour? So we're going to set it up like this. 3 meters over 1 second. We're going to try to convert that into meters, so we don't have to change the meters per hour. So we need to change seconds into hours. How do we get from seconds to hours? Seconds to minutes. We know there's 60 seconds in a minute. And then minutes to hours. So this is going to be a 2-step problem. To convert seconds to minutes, we know there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. And here's the trick. Where do we put the 60 seconds? In the top or in the bottom? We have to put it up top. Because remember, we want it to cancel with seconds. But seconds is in our denominator. It's per second. So it's over seconds. So to get seconds to cancel, it was in the denominator. Now we have to put it up top. So we're going to cancel it like that over 1 minute. And then to convert minutes to hours, we know there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Where am I going to put the 60 minutes? In the top, because minutes was down bottom here, so we need it up top there to cancel. 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we end up with 3 times 60 times 60. Use a calculator.
10,000. Yeah, 1,000.
I got 10,800.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's see. 3 times 60 times 60. Yeah. And then our unit is meters up top still. We still have this m from the beginning. Divided by hours. Meters per hour. So the hours was in the bottom of our fraction. That means it's going to be in the bottom of our unit. We could also write this 10,800 meters per 1 hour. These are the same thing. These are equal. They're equivalent. It's just this is the more common way of seeing these units written. Like miles per hour is usually written mph. Remember, 30 mph means 30 miles per 1 hour. That's what that means. As you guys learn to drive, you'll start doing calculations like this in your head sometimes. right? You'll be like, okay, I know that my grandma's house is 45 miles away, and I'm going 65 miles an hour. You can approximate, you know. I'm going to get there in under an hour, right? I'll get there faster than an hour. Sometimes I like to think, like, okay, if I were to just go 5 miles per hour faster, how much sooner would I get to my destination? It's usually like, 2 minutes sooner. It's not a big difference. All right. Questions about these more complex units? Let's do some practice.